Today we're going to talk about the Traynor TS-60B. So yeah, we're starting off on just kind of everything at 5. I'm using my Kramer P-Bass, just the P-Bass pickup here. It's got a nice clanky maple neck. I only got one pedal on the board, which is not on right now. It's the Deadair Intentions. It's the pedal that I feel like most goes along with what this amp does. And this amp is another old solid-state gem. I pretty much bought it without knowing exactly what it would sound like because I know for a fact every old Traynor bass amp I've seen sounds great. And this one is no exception. I was especially tickled to find out that there's one of these in Steve Albini's studio. So, you know, fucking look at me.
Yeah, I don't know what that face was supposed to be, but I don't know. I am excited about the fact that it was in Steve Albini's studio. I'm trying to act like I don't care about it. But yeah, I want shit that sounds cool and sounds good. I'm not above it.
All right, so everything's at 5, including the volume. I've got it going in the high input. And so yeah, it's got kind of like an old school punk, like Dead Kennedys type sound. That's why I was playing something that sounded like that. And yeah, it's just got a basic EQ and then this post graphic equalization channel thing that is foot switchable, but I'm not going to fuck with that. I don't think that even works in this amp. This amp is very old and it's all fucked up. You can see maybe some of the wear and tear from over there on the camera. This like thing is like totally torn off and like scratched out, but the EQ, it's 100 hertz, 300, 800, and 220. That's like a pretty choice like set of EQ bands as far as bass guitar is concerned in my mind. So we're using the Kramer bass Intentions pedal, AKG 112, D112, pointed basically at the speaker cap about an inch away. All right, so I bought this amp because I thought I would get a really good distorted bass sound, but you know, at first it's kind of just like a little gritty. It doesn't really sound like that much. So let's turn the gain all the way up. So it's getting there. It's like getting a little bit more gritty. So the thing about this amp is just like a lot of old solid state amps that I would like came to find out about them is that like the way the EQs work and the way everything works is just like kind of totally different from a modern amp. The volume goes way up when you turn the gain up, and the EQ, like some other old amps, kind of just affects the overdrive sound more than anything. It doesn't really seem to do that much. This, on the other hand, does. And so you're going to see that in a minute. So I really want to start getting like a distorted sound. I'm just going to dime all these. Oop, got to turn it on. So now we're getting into some pretty cool territory. It's like this unique kind of distortion character. That I think would really sound good on a recording. But it's kind of like sitting in the guitar range, you know, which can be good, you know, for like an old school punk bass sound. That can be good. I'm going to try boosting this with the pedal here. the Intentions pedal from Deadair. I'm going to turn the gain back down and then back up with this. So this pedal works really well with the character of this amp. It kind of just like enhances the natural sort of overdrive, just like when you jack up the EQ. Try the red channel real quick, which I've got like the volume turned all the way up, the gain at halfway, and I've got it on the half moon channel, and I've got the bass setting on. So it's like for bass guitar. So some pretty cool sounds there. It like always kind of keeps its own character though, no matter what. I even tried some more modern pedals with it, and it still just kind of keeps its own character, which is what I wanted to show off here because I really think that's like a cool sound. So you can get a lot of cool distortion sounds, but inherently it's going to have that sound no matter what. So I kind of just like to go with what's on the amp. By the way, there's this boost switch here. I don't know what that does because it's not working, but I don't seem to need it. So if we want more of like a modern, like heavy sound, especially if you're trying to like fill up the low end in a live setting or, you know, in rehearsal or whatever, that's where this EQ comes in. So I'm going to do my normal sort of thing. It's like boosting up the low end like all the way, sucking out the 300 hertz to scoop it out a bit, boosting up 800 to give it some presence. And I'm going to leave 220 where it is because it's a frequency that can get kind of out of control on this amp and with the overdrive that it has. But it sounds good where it's at. And also the fucking knob's ripped off and I have to like move it with a guitar pick, which I'm not going to do right now.
Yeah, so I make weird faces while I'm playing the bass, playing the guitar. I don't know. I guess I just make weird faces in general. This time I kind of look like Tony Soprano getting excited about something, like ducks, I guess.
It sounds fucking great. That's like definitely what I would use for like a live setting, just so it'd be like filling out. And recording, I think you could get away with like without the EQ and you get some really cool like vintage old school punk bass sounds. This thing's going to be great for recording with the P bass or whatever. Like I feel like with the right type of old fashioned overdrive, you can get a lot of cool sounds with it too. But the sound of the amp, like I said, is great. And it just like brings a lot of like old school flavor that you can't get from a newer bass amp. Even when you boost the EQ, it's still got that like old school vibe, but like newer amps kind of just have a much more sort of sterile character to them. And this one does not. And I'm very happy to say that. That's with everything. All the channels on the Deadair intentions. Everything all the way up. Thank you. Good night.
Ba 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 ba